Now he's going for radar. And I mean, co-op is a lot of fun if you're looking for doing a good amount of damage quickly, and just feeling like you trashed somebody.
Or for grinding out snowflakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And absolutely, co-op is great for grinding out snowflakes. Yes. No, one battleship on the enemy team, no destroyers, and all cruisers. This one's gonna be fun. Doing our draw after this battle, guys. Exclamation point ticket gets you in. Make sure that you are present and a follower. That's all you have to do to win. And then we've got a bunch of additional codes we're going to be giving away during our raid segment, which will start after this game.
Actually, just talking about the Edinburgh for a minute. I ground through her a few months ago. I'd consider her a fairly solid tier 8 light cruiser. Fairly good DPM. She's the improved AP. Extremely good stealth, and of course that radar. Or you can choose smoke. The thing is, though, just my personal preference, I don't really agree with playing radar, just because of the fact that she doesn't really have the DPM that the Neptune or the Minotaur have to be able to rapidly take down destroyers. Sure, she does have the Alpha Strike, but not really that consistent follow-up that both those ships have.
There's only one time that I would take radar in an Edinburgh, and that would be in a tier locked situation. So, for example, a ranked battle that only has tier 8s. That's the only time I could possibly see you taking radar in Edinburgh. Otherwise, with carrier spam as it is, all that kind of stuff, I feel you're much safer just playing a smoke.
I agree with that, actually. And the thing was with, ranked battles, they also tend to be fairly small scale. Most ranked battles are like, 7 on 7 or 8 on 8.
Yep.
And I feel that radar has a greater influence on smaller scale, just because you have less ships to take out. And the less ships you have to take out, if you can make those radar plays, it can oftentimes be far more significant than, say, just a general 12 on 12.
Yep. All right.
Another thing working in Radar Edinburgh's favor is actually when she gets down tier. A lot of the tier 6 and tier 7 destroyers may not be aware that she has radar, so they stumble into Edinburgh's radar range to get radared, you nuke them, and boom, the enemy's down one destroyer right off the bat. And the DPM is not a problem because the low tier destroyers do not have much HP.
Yeah. And
I only play Radar Edinburgh, bro.
Of course. And here's
Learn to survive very quickly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. It does teach you something else, doesn't it?
And the other great thing about the Royal Navy light cruisers in general is that even though they reload, they still reload very quickly, but because it's that short fuse AP, it arms on destroyers. So you end up dealing quite significant amounts of damage to low-tier destroyers. And considering that most low-tier destroyers have like less than 15,000 hit points, a really good salvo can quite quickly bring them down. I've one-shot ships like Asashio and Kagero. Those all have like 15k. Imagine what you do to something like Farragut.
Oh yeah, they just disappear.
A good salvo will typically net about 8k or so. But realistic conditions tend to be about 5k on a good salvo.
Yeah.
The best ones tend to be about 8k, unlike the Italian ones. The Italian cruisers will hit a little bit harder, but just once.
Now,
it'll just hit once because, of course, it's SAF, and the reload's also fairly sluggish too. So.
Back there, Cthulhu, I probably would not have single-fire torps that close to the Atlanta. I think I would have just spammed them and then gone back to your guns, just to try to get that Atlanta down quicker. But you've managed to rip through the enemy. 3 kills. I'm sure your Tirpitz is sitting back there saying, I want to play too.
Oh yeah, that's the other great thing about the Edinburgh as well. Because it's short fuse AP, unlike heavy cruisers at this tier, you don't really overpen on the super squishy cruisers. Like you run into Atlantas and Nurembergs. Like, if you can get the arcs, you can just completely demolish them with citadels. It's
Yep, which is what Cthulhu did.
yeah, pretty
Do-
much.
There is a few drawbacks though. Like you won't. It's a little bit harder to hit citadels, and if there's any ship that has a torpedo belt, well, that's just not going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it only really works. That sort of thing only really works against something with an exposed citadel, like you have, the mid-tier Soviets and such. Like, if you're going to go after something like that's German, they're more likely just going to be for full pens rather than actual citadel damage.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't keep the angle here. Cthulhu, I know you're waiting until he gets detected, that Ryujo, but you might be better off just heading straight for it and then turning out when it's detected. Get yourself as close as possible so that when you are ready to shoot him, you get all your guns on him.
One of the probably the best advantage Edinburgh has over the other light cruisers is that she's the last non-squishy Royal Navy light cruiser. Like Fiji, it's surprisingly hard to hit her citadel. Unfortunately, when you get up to Neptune, she takes citadels from pretty much every single ship, and that only continues with Minotaur.
Oh yeah.
At the very least, Minotaur has the stealth to at least disengage, because Neptune has a 10.3 kilometer surface detection range, which is
Well,
problematic in place.
Either way, if you're getting hit, you're not going to have a good day. At least with the Edinburgh and the Fiji, you have a decent chance of just getting overpens.
Yeah. And the thing is, with the Fiji and the Edinburgh, their citadel isn't exactly where you think it is, because the citadel's waterline, what you look at in the armor viewer is actually their main armor belt, sort of that just sits above the citadel. That's where people tend to, overpen or full pen you instead of citadeling you. Which is why they're so notoriously difficult to citadel.
All right, Mason finishing the tutorial. Thank you very much, Mason.